Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar for today, the first session of 3 in our SEO Masterclass series hosted by Local IQ, Mastering SEO Fundamentals. That's our first session. We'll get started in about 60 seconds. People are still coming in. It's great to see so many people in our attendance. While we allow them in a moment to get logged in, if you can find the questions area in your webinar control panel and let us know the name of your business, the industry that you represent, as well as where are you on your SEO journey. Does your business have an SEO strategy? Are you just getting started? It would be really helpful to know where everyone is on that journey. So if you can let us know that in the questions section, that'll be really good feedback for us. Awesome, everyone is coming in, great. Awesome, all right, we will go ahead and get started. Again, welcome to SEO Masterclass series hosted by Local IQ. This is the first of a few sessions. In this session, we're going to be talking about mastering SEO fundamentals. If this is your first time joining our webinar, welcome, and please allow me to introduce you to Local IQ. We are a multi-channel digital marketing agency, so we don't just specialize in things like PPC, paid social, display advertising, but we also specialize in search engine optimization, website design, and so much more. We are a part of the NewsQuest Media Group, which consists of more than 200 trusted news brands across the UK. So we can even help incorporate print into your integrated marketing strategy. And as you can see here on the left, we have a pretty large team of professionals across our client services that are trusted experts, especially in the area of search engine optimization, and they're ready and able to work closely with your business to help you achieve your SEO growth goals. Our agenda for today, we're going to cover these 6 items. What is SEO? The search engine result landing page landscape. How does SEO work? The 4 pillars of SEO. We're going to go over a few case studies so you can see how we've implemented some strategies for businesses just like yours. And then we're going to wrap with a Q&A segment. My name is Brandon Griffin. I'm head of B2B marketing for Local IQ, and I'll be the facilitator for today's conversation. But I'm very happy to have one of our SEO experts live on our call, Natasha. Hey, Natasha, thank you so much for joining with us today.
So we should be on here.
Yes, Natasha is a senior SEO client success manager here at Local IQ. She's worked with large e-commerce businesses, retail, service providers, and even healthcare clients, optimizing their websites for search engines and offering further advice on how they can advance the user experience, because user experience is a really big part of SEO. So I'm happy that she's going to share her expertise with us today as our SEO expert. And just a few housekeeping things for our audience today. Thank you to everyone who has taken already to the questions section of our webinar control panel and shared their name, the name of their business, and where you are on this SEO journey. So let us know if you've got an SEO strategy for your business, or if you're new to this SEO world and you've got a lot of things that you want to learn. You can do that in the questions section. And you can also, as we proceed, if you have questions, put your questions into that chat area. We've got colleagues in the background who are going to answer your questions while we're presenting live. And then also at the end of the session, Natasha and I will answer a few questions as well. So let's get started. And Natasha, our first part, and also I don't think I mentioned that this webinar is going to be recorded. So for everyone who's attending, you will receive the webinar recording and the slides within 24 hours. So that way it can help you with your notes and your follow-up to take action afterwards. But Natasha, let's go ahead and let's dive in. I think the first thing that we should talk about, just so that everyone has a good foundational understanding, is what is SEO?
Absolutely. So first of all, SEO or search engine optimization is a very important part of digital marketing strategies for business owners. It involves optimizing your website and online content to rank higher in search engines like Google and Bing. By doing so, you can increase your website's visibility to potential customers searching for products and services related to your business. It leads to more organic traffic in your website, improves online presence, and ultimately helps you attract and convert more users. So when we say organic, this means that people see you in search engine results. You don't need to pay for that click when somebody visits your website. When you have to pay each time a person clicks on your ad, this is what we refer to as PPC or pay-per-click advertising. SEO is about trying to show up in more areas where your business does not have to pay for this type of engagement with potential customers.
That makes sense, Natasha. You know, I think most people are probably familiar with using search engines, but sometimes when we start having to use these tools for our business to help us generate revenue, we start to look at it a little bit differently. So can you take us through the landscape of a search engine result page to help us kind of determine, you know, where is it paid ads and where is it SEO that's working in our favor?
Yes, of course. So in this example, we're going to use solicitors in London. So we have sponsored results, first of all. So sponsored results are what we talked about. They're a type of paid advertisement that shows up alongside the organic search results. Businesses are paying a fee to appear here. These results are always labeled as sponsored. You will also sometimes see map packs. So the Google map pack appears on top of search engine results pages, also known as SERPs, for local Google searches. This includes 3 businesses Google believes best match what the user is searching for in terms of relevance, distance, and prominence. There isn't actually a way to guarantee your business will show up here, but setting up location pages in a Google business profile can help increase those chances. We then have the organic results. So organic results are what we're going through today. These are the unpaid listings that appear on your search results. These results are based on factors such as relevance to the user's search query, incoming links, domain authority, and the SEO. Typically results on page, the position 1 to 10 results are on page 1, 11 to 20 are on page 2, and so on. If we look at the map, there may also be sponsored and organic results here, and people use it or expand the map section to see how close a business may be to where they are as well.
Yeah, the maps are always helpful, especially if you're searching for a business, a restaurant, or some other business in an area that you aren't familiar with, and so you're trying to see how close you are in proximity. Natasha, I think these next 2 probably have increased in popularity as people have started to conduct more voice searches, where instead of just typing in the keywords, people are talking right into their device as if they're having a conversation, and they ask Google or they ask Bing a question. Can you talk about the featured snippets as well as the people also ask sections?
Yeah, of course. So you're absolutely right. It's just the search engine's way of trying to be predictive and try to get your answer quicker. So we first have the featured snippet. So the featured snippet are highlighted excerpts of text that appear at the top of Google search results pages. They're also known as position 0. They provide users with quick answers to their query and are more likely to appear when a user enters informational search queries. We also have people also asked. So Google uses this. It's a Google rich snippet feature that provides users with additional questions related to their original search query and some quick answers to that.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Natasha, that landscape of the search engine result page. You know, I think now that we've talked about what is SEO, and we have a good understanding as to where we're trying to show up and what's on that search engine result page, let's talk about why it's important for a business, because SEO is just one of many tactics that a business could implement. So of all the tactics, why is SEO important?
So there's so many reasons that SEO is important, especially for businesses. So first of all, it actually complements short-term tactics such as pay-per-click or traditional marketing campaigns. While PPC can deliver immediate results, SEO works in the background to establish a long-lasting online presence. For example, if you're running a limited time promotion via PPC, SEO ensures that your website continues to rank well even after the campaign ends. In addition to this, by improving your website's SEO, you increase your quality score as well, which can lower the cost of pay-per-click in PPC campaigns, making them a lot more cost effective. For instance, if you're in an insurance industry and you're ranking well for competitive insurance-related keywords, you can save a significant amount of money on your PPC advertising costs. Additionally, when your website ranks well organically, it lends credibility to your paid ads on social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. But it's not just here to help other forms of marketing, it also benefits itself as well. So SEO also enhances user experience on the website. When you optimize your site for search engines, you're also making it more user-friendly. This means faster loading times, easy navigation, and relevant high-quality content. And finally, SEO builds trust and credibility and brand awareness. When your business consistently appears at the top of search results for phrases your customers use, it establishes trust in your expertise. So there's so many reasons that it's very beneficial.
And I think this is a really great illustration too, in terms of like how the two work together. And while a lot of businesses, when you do invest in your marketing, you need and want immediate results right now. But there are times where you'll want to, there are times when you'll want to implement some things to where you'll be able to benefit from them a little bit longer or further down the line. On this one, Natasha, didn't want to go too deep, but it's an SEO Masterclass. So can you tell us a little bit about how SEO works and what this illustration is?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll try to simplify this as much as possible because it does get a little bit technical. So each search engine has its own individual process to determine which sites to include in its index. So let's use Google as an example. So Google's process is to crawl billions of pages every day using their web crawlers, also known as spiders or bots. These pages are added to an index that it pulls results from. Algorithms are then tasked to match results from the index. Every search result you see is sourced from this index after the algorithm has chosen it, which result to show for your query. So the aim of all of these search engines is to show you the best, most relevant websites for your query.
Well, that simplifies it a lot. So thanks for that. Now, just a quick reminder for everyone, the webinar is being recorded, so I know we probably are going fast in some of these areas, but you'll be able to replay it as well as go through the slides within 24 hours once we send it to your email. If you have questions along the way, please submit them in the questions portion of our webinar control panel. And then also along the way in our slides, we've included some call outs to blogs and other guides that you'll be able to review at your leisure on our website. And so now we'll move into our next section, Natasha, and we'll talk about, I guess this really is the fundamentals of SEO. It's breaking it down because there are 4 pillars of SEO. We've got technical SEO, content, on-page SEO, and off-page. And I was just looking at the chat. We've got some businesses that have started their SEO strategy. We've got some businesses that have been focused a little bit more on content, and some have been focused on technical. So different people are at different spaces in terms of where they're focused in on. So can you take us through what these 4 pillars are and maybe some things that we can do for each of those that will work together for that greater good of SEO?
Yes, absolutely. Let's do a little bit of a breakdown of these 4 pillars. So we're going to start with technical SEO. So technical SEO refers to the website and server optimizations that help search engine spiders crawl and index your website more efficiently. This helps to improve organic rankings. It is worth noting that if you have a larger website, bigger than 100 pages, so this is usually e-commerce or ones with a lot of products, you'll usually have a lot more issues than a smaller website. For example, if you're a local business with a couple of services, that's generally a small website. So larger ones, you may find a few more technical issues there. There are some key elements to technical SEO. So first of all, website speed. This is very essential to SEO, as Google and other search engines don't want to deliver results that are slow loading. They want to present the most relevant and most appropriate websites. This is in line with their user experience as well. If they provide websites that are slow, it's going to be bad for their user experience too. So in addition to this, if your website takes longer than only 3 seconds to load, chances are the majority of your users will actually leave. So they don't give you much time. It is in the era of quick videos, so you want things as quick as possible, realistically. We also have mobile responsiveness. This is quite an obvious one for this one. It is a ranking signal for both Google and Bing's algorithms. So websites that are mobile friendly will generally outrank non-mobile friendly websites, especially if that user is searching on a mobile device. The other ones to include are also URL and website structure, sitemap and robots.txt files, structured data, also known as schema. This tells search engines what your website's about, basically. And then website security, things like using HTTPS as opposed to HTTP.
Yeah, really good points there. Some things that spoke to me, especially, is that website speed, because you're right, people don't give you a lot of grace these days. So if they're trying to find something and your website does not load, very quickly they'll click the back button and then try to find another provider of the answer, whatever it is that they're looking for. And then the mobile responsiveness is really important, but it's also important that I think businesses know their target audience as well and their product too, because there's still a population that utilize desktop computers and laptops, and sometimes when people are doing more in-depth research or because it's a big purchase or buying decision, they may do it from the comfort of their desktop computer. So it's really important that especially if you have that audience and your business, make sure that your website is optimized both for multiple devices, really, mobile as well as desktop, because desktop is still there, but mobile is increasing in popularity. So technical SEO, thank you for that. What's next, Natasha?
Next is content. This is a bit more of the creative side of it. So content SEO refers to creating content that helps web pages to rank higher in search engines. This does include both writing and structuring the content. So you need to use keywords in this and content coverage called topical authority. This is evaluated by search engines when determining whether to rank your website higher in search engine results pages. So it's worth noting as well, last year was one of the major Google updates. So in August of last year, they launched the helpful content update. This update was to promote helpful, reliable, people-first content. But what this means is people now need to self-assess their content on their site to determine if that content is helpful to the user or not. This was an effort to reduce any low-quality content and make it easier for users to find something more authentic and useful. So some key elements to this is some content focuses. So add some in-depth information to existing pages, create some transactional service pages. If you have a location, create location pages, articles that are relevant to your services or what you're offering, and FAQs. I would recommend, if you offer different services, to have an FAQ on each of those service pages as well. The content also needs to be aligned with your business and with the customer's search intent, and everything needs to be mapped to the relevant keywords as well to ensure you're targeting the right ones. And then we are going on to on-page SEO, which is another nice one. So it can feel a little bit technical at first sight, but it can have a huge impact, and it's probably my most fun one to do. So this is the process of optimizing your web page content for search engines and users. So this includes elements such as title tags and meta descriptions. So this is what appears when you type something into Google. Those are the results you'll see. This is critical for helping you rank in search engines and summarizes the contents of your websites to both search engines and the user. So not only is it helping that search engine, but it's helping to increase your click-through rate, potentially bring in some new customers as well. We also have header tags, which are very vital, but I'll go through that a bit better in the case study. We also have internal and external links, keyword usage, images, and overall user experience. So this one doesn't get mentioned a lot and it's quite overlooked when optimizing a website, but it is the foundation of usability. If your website has poor user experience and it's difficult to navigate, visitors will just simply go to another competitor instead. So it's very vital to get some user experience in there when you're thinking of your SEO.
And Natasha, that was one question that came through of a business. They were wondering, how can I control what shows up on the search engine result page about my business? They had a paid ads campaign, and so they are familiar with how you can create and control the text that shows up for those paid ads that say sponsored. But for those things that show up a little bit further down on the page that aren't sponsored, how can the business control what that information is? And so that information is being fed from the actual page itself, the title tags and the meta descriptions that are kind of built into the website. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely right. So you can change this yourself as well. So it doesn't have to be what Google determined. They may change it themselves, but what you want to do is just ensure you have the most optimized title tags and meta descriptions, and then they should show on search engine results for you.
Cool, thanks for
that.
The
last one of the 4 pillars is off-page. So this is using SEO tactics applied outside of a website to improve its rankings. So this actually increases trust signals. It determines how authoritative a search engine views a website. So the ways you can do this is relevant referring domains and backlinks. These work as upvotes to Google, essentially, and other search engines, Bing, all of those. You can also have a Google business profile. This is very vital if you're a local business, especially. I would recommend all businesses have a Google business profile. You can also have directory listings. In addition to this, you can have social media, guest posting, forums, things like that. And one that I highly always recommend is reviews, especially from Trustpilot or industry specific. And also you can have reviews on your Google business profile. These can be embedded on your website as well. And then we'll be moving on to some case studies, won't we?
Yep, cool. Here we go.
So these are a couple of case studies. These are some of the businesses that I have previously worked on. So first of all, we're going to start with a restaurant case study. So just to take you through a bit of a background of this client, they are essentially a steakhouse, but they didn't want to focus on being a steakhouse. They wanted to be more known as this is the best restaurant in their area. They didn't want to just be classified under one thing. They wanted, oh, let's go here because it's a great restaurant, not because it's a steakhouse. But they were only ranking for steakhouses. We wanted to rank them for best restaurants in York, things like that. So they had a lot of competition in their area as well. So the key focus that we did here was actually on-page SEO. So the first steps I took were to do some keyword research and competitor analysis to determine what keywords we needed. So then we could place a strategy over this as well and make sure it's all good, essentially. From there, we updated the meta titles and descriptions, which is what we talked about before. And we also changed the headers around, which had an amazing impact in only a matter of months. We did use other types of the pillars of SEO as well, but the main focus here was on page for this one. And because of this, the results were a 64% increase in keywords compared to the previous month. So while SEO is a slow process, there are some ways we can actually increase that. So on page, I feel, is the quickest way to gain some good results.
That's a good example. Can you talk a little bit more about just the keyword research and the competitor analysis? So like, what are some of the things when you do that competitor analysis that a business would be looking at to then figure out how and what they should do with their own strategy?
So how I do it is I use a few tools. So I always like to use SEMrush, for example, and tools like that that can do keywords. So what I would personally do is find what keywords I'm looking to target. So do a little bit of research around this, break it down a bit more. I'll find the full list, and then I'll get 5 from each of those keywords and determine what the best ones are to search for. So if we say restaurants in York, it could be best restaurants in York or romantic restaurants in York. It's ones like that that break it down a little bit more. And then to do with the competitor analysis, I would actually type these into Google. This is one really good way of doing it, which is a good trick because it's just a simple way and you don't need any tools. It's completely free to do. You can type in best restaurants in York and see exactly who's at the top of Google and figure out who some of your competitors are from there.
I see. Yeah, in our follow-up series, I think it's going to be session 2, we're going to be talking about how to unlock some of those local SEO strategies. And I've got a feeling we probably will dive a little bit deeper into some of those tools that you just mentioned. So thanks for that case study. I think we've got time maybe for one more. So that was the restaurant, food and drink, beverage industry. You've got one more for us?
Yes, I do. So this one is a clinic in London. So first of all, this is highly competitive. These types of clinics do anti-wrinkle injections and dermal fillers. So it's very competitive now, and London especially has many clinics that do this. So we needed to ensure that the website had a lot of trust signals as it's a medical business, and we needed to improve content as well. So first of all, we added reviews across every page of the website, just so anybody who clicks on that website, maybe they just immediately click on anti-wrinkle injections, they will see good reviews. They will see all these trust signals that will help them. In addition to this, we had to update the headers. They had a bit of a weird structure. It would say anti-wrinkle as a H3 and injections as a H2. That is in Google, that's not Google best practices. So we changed that to a H1 because they were offering anti-wrinkle injections. That should be the H1 of the page. So this was a bit of a content-led campaign as well. So we added FAQs to every single treatment pages. And we also added a video from the founder. So we asked her to create some videos about every single one of these treatments. And we added transcripts to these because it helps with keywords, content, and accessibility. And then when we compare it to the previous year, those results came in at 962% increase in impressions and 524% increase in clicks.
Good results there. And, I think you mentioned a couple of things I just want to make sure the audience heard too, is, their website was built perhaps by their website design team, but it wasn't built to the best practice, the most recent best practice of Google, because Google changes their algorithms, their policies and best practices all the time. So it's very likely if your website was designed, even just a year ago, it may be out of date, and some small changes like you just mentioned, the changing of headings and titles can make all the difference, as well as you want to make sure that, the team of people that you're working with, from your web designers to your digital marketing managers and such, are all well versed and communicate with each other. And so I think that's a really great thing that we have here at Local IQ. We've got our web team, we got our SEO team, and they all work together to help make sure that that end product is really good for the client. So thanks, Natasha, for sharing that. Let's see. I think that's really the main things of the webinar that we want to talk about. So we're going to move to some questions in just a second. But we've talked about what is SEO. We've talked about why it's important. We've talked about how it works in the most simplified way, and you've kind of broken down for us the different pillars of SEO, from technical, content, on page and off page. And you've described that SEO is a long-term approach that can complement very well short-term strategies like paid search and PPC. Those are things that you may run for certain campaigns or that are time sensitive. And throughout that long-term strategy, there will be a lot of different things that a business can do across all those different categories. So good stuff there. And again, just trying to keep it simple. And we're going to continue to build on everything that we're talking about in sessions 2 and session 3 of our series. And so just for our audience, again, the webinar recording and the slides are going to be on your way within 24 hours. So be on the lookout for that. And then also we always like to encourage people to don't just listen today, but try to find some things that you can actually take action on. And one of the things that you can do today is go to our website. We recently launched this. It's a free SEO audit for your business. It provides an extensive review of some of the most critical factors that search engines rely on when they're ranking your website. And so the report will audit your website on about 100 different factors in about 5 different categories, some of which Natasha talked about today. We've got on-page SEO, links, performance, usability, social. It'll give you a report card for your website, for your business from a SEO audit perspective. And so it's a really great tool. It's free. I encourage everyone to take a look at that. And all you have to do is put in your website address, and then the results will be on your way. So we'll put that link in the chat. If I can ask one of our team members in the background to put that in the chat for everyone to make sure that they do that. It's a really good tool to use. And then I've seen some really good questions that have come through the chat as well. So Natasha, you'll stick around with me for a second to answer some of these questions that have come through. Awesome. Let's see here. One of the first questions that came through is, can you talk through some of those key ranking factors of SEO?
Yes, of course. So we first of all have some high quality content that is matched to user intent. This is vital since we had the helpful content update, which I went through. So we really need to ensure that all content is made for users, not for search engines anymore, which is a bit of an outdated SEO type of thing. We also need to ensure mobile responsiveness. Page and user experience, which we went through, is a huge thing now. Page speed, and then on-page elements that we discussed, which is metadata, titles, header tags, everything like that. We need to ensure website structure is good as well, and internal linking and backlinks.
And those are some of the factors that the SEO audit tool from Local IQ will help point out for businesses if they need to make improvements in those areas. Another question that came through, Natasha, what are some common SEO practices?
Okay, so the first one that I would always say is keyword research. This is an analysis of search terms to examine where search traffic in a specific niche came from and which keywords to best target. This can be followed by competitor analysis as well, which we discussed, which is just researching competitors to gather some insights on their keywords, their content, and overall strategy. So you can actually see what's working and what isn't for them. We have keyword mapping as well. So pairing 1 to 5 keywords that we talked about. We'll probably go through this in a bit more detail in the next webinar, which is going to their goal landing page to increase relevancy and targeting. And then of course, content plan curation and an existing content audit to evaluate which of your content works and which doesn't, so you can potentially remove it or merge it.
Cool. I think I've got a few more for you, Natasha, but we've also got some of the chat that our colleagues have been answering in the background, and so I just want to acknowledge some of those just in case others have some of those same questions. One question that came through from Ben, should we do anything differently for Bing, DuckDuckGo, etc., or do they just rely on the same thing as Google? And the answer that came through from Emmy on our SEO team, generally SEO best practices work across all search engines. There are always some nuances between different search engines. However, these are fairly minor. And then another question that came through was, how often should we tweak the website to increase or maintain ranking? That was a great question from another Natasha, who's on our call today, webinar today. And the answer that came through was that rankings should be assessed monthly if after a consistent 3-month decrease in a keyword or page ranking, it's worth tweaking a page, and it's best to avoid knee-jerk reactions. I think that's a really good point Natasha, to just kind of elaborate on, because again, SEO, you talked about, is a long-term strategy. And so sometimes you probably do have to avoid the urge to go in week to week and make changes. Sometimes you do just need to let it sit and know that you're going to have some increases and decreases, perhaps in page position or click-through rates, but just because there's a change doesn't mean that you need to make an immediate change to your strategy. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't recommend changing it as soon as you see something go down. It can take a little while for search engines to actually index the change. So what I would recommend doing is going on Search Console. You can actually get the page indexed quicker by Google, and then it'll just get indexed a bit faster. You can see the results a little bit quicker as well, but just don't make too many changes too immediately. You won't see the results of your SEO paying off.
Yeah. Earlier I asked, when we started the webinar, if people could let us know where they are on the SEO journey. And there are some who haven't been connected to SEO in a while. So one question that came through was, what are the significant changes in SEO that people who haven't been actively working on SEO for a few years might not know about?
Okay, so there's quite a lot. So I'll go through and narrow it down just to a couple of them. So first of all, we have Core Web Vitals and page experience. So Google has placed more emphasis on user experience. Core Web Vitals, which includes metrics like site speed, mobile friendliness, and visual stability, now plays a crucial part in rankings. Websites need to prioritize these aspects just for better SEO, essentially. We also have featured snippets and zero-click searches, which is what we went through at the start of this, which is featured snippets often appear at the top of the search engine, leading to more zero-click searches. SEO strategies now include optimizing featured snippets to gain some visibility and traffic. The last one that I'll go through as well would be structured data and schema markup. So implementing structured data and schema can help a search engine to understand your website a little bit better and potentially display rich snippets in search engines. We'll probably delve into that a little bit more in the next webinar, but I always recommend getting schema on your website.
And one other question that came through was, how do you prevent your online store from being mostly visible to like local users, especially if you have like a national product? So you want to show up nationally, but it seems like you're only coming up for people in your local community. Is there a way to prevent that and just get a little bit more even coverage across the country?
Yes, of course. So there's different ways you can do this. So if you are a local business with a local store, you are always going to show up locally. That is just one of those things. But if you do want to expand to national coverage, you can remove the localization from your website, but it does depend on if you do deliver nationally. If you don't, I wouldn't recommend doing this. But if you are a national store, it's fine to just not have to have all these location pages and say, you can mention it, but it doesn't have to be on every meta description and title. We are in Oxford, for example. You don't have to keep saying that like you would for localized stores.
Good advice there. Going back to our chat here, and thank you for keeping those chats coming. One webinar goer says, would having a chatbot, and chatbots are really a big conversation now because we're talking about AI and the use of just automated tools to help with that customer service aspect of it. Would having a chatbot help with SEO if it feeds into the frequently asked questions section? And the answer that our SEO expert Emmy provided was that a chatbot with live Q&A does not impact SEO. FAQs, frequently asked questions, created as page content will help SEO. And I think, Natasha, you had mentioned that, and I thought that was a good call out as well, in that a lot of times businesses will just create that one frequently asked questions page and put 100 questions there, but it could probably be more impactful and effective, as you had described, which is to break out those FAQs and put them on the most appropriate product page and such. So good one there. Let's see. Well, we've got time for one more question because I do want to be mindful and respectful of everyone's time. Let me get one here. Let's see. Our next one. As a very small marketing team of 2, and a lot of businesses are that, you don't have a lot of resource, and so your marketing team may just be 2 or 3 people. How can you keep abreast of changes Google are making in an easily digestible way? Well, first, shameless plug, I'll say you should definitely subscribe to the Local IQ newsletter because each month we send what's the latest trends and blogs and resources that can be very helpful to our subscribers out on a monthly basis. We even have a LinkedIn version of that newsletter, which provides that content in a more digestible way. Periodically, we are always running webinars of different topics and subjects as well. So you can go to, in fact, it says it here, if you go to this particular webinar's landing page on our website, you can see all of our catalog there. And then there are a lot of other options out there too, as in terms of YouTube videos that can be very helpful. But that's our goal. Our goal is to help you grow and to help equip your marketing team with all the resources you need to have that robust digital marketing strategy, and also lend support when you need that hands-on support as well. So with that, I want to thank everyone for providing their questions. If we did not get to your questions live, don't worry, stay tuned to our blog. We'll post all of the answers to all the questions that were asked, even those that we may not have been able to ask live, on our blog for tomorrow. So stay tuned to that. Make sure you also participate in that SEO audit for your website. It's totally free. You go to our website and scroll down, you'll see it, the SEO audit. All you have to do is type in your website address. And hopefully, if you register for this session, you've also registered for our 2 follow-up sessions that are coming up over the next few months. Again, more information about that is on our website. And if you feel like you need more one-to-one assistance and you want to speak to our SEO experts about your business specifically, your industry specifically, and the challenges and the needs that you have, you can go to our website as well and click on our contact us, and you can connect with an SEO expert to talk about a specific strategy that will work for your business. Natasha, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and to share your expertise, as well as thank you for breaking this big world of SEO down into, I feel, a very easy, digestible way of understanding, because it's just the first session in our series, and for each session we're going to go a little bit deeper. So I think this was a really good session to just kind of get the foundation of the fundamentals of SEO. So thank you for your help there.
Yeah, no problem. I've loved doing it. SEO, anyone can learn it, so it's nice to be able to help people with it.
Cool. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for taking time out of your day to join us, and we hope to see you on session 2 of our SEO Masterclass series. See you soon.